welcome to another CRN episode. Tonight we will be with Virtual Velocity Racing. Tonight they will be tackling Nashville Super Speedway, 1.3 miles around this track here, and it is 77 degrees outside. Track temperature is, 73 degrees outside. Track temperature is at 77 degrees. So nice, cool track for these drivers out here tonight as the competition is winding down towards the last half of the season here. So still got a few more races to go. I think 6 more after this one. So it is really winding up as far as these drivers' points and whatnot as it gets down towards the end. But tonight they will be here at Nashville Super Speedway as these right now that are out there finishing up practice, getting ready to qualify here. You can see in the background there's a couple cars sliding by as they are taking every inch of the track they can, trying to push these cars to the limit. And one thing I like about this track is that it's got really high speeds for as short as it is, and it really puts on some great racing, but the drivers can't just put their pedal to the metal, or they'll end up down the grass or on the wall or whatever it may be. But those are the things that they're going to have to conquer here tonight. 27 cars on the field so far. Mike Hasty's up on top with the fastest during practice here. I'll bring that up and show you with a 29.517. But you can see how close everybody is here tonight. So it's going to make for some great racing. And just if you're out there, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting CRN. Shout out there to Tyler, Hilton, and Barry, as always, for joining us here for this evening's festivities. I'll be joined by Carl Heinberg later in the booth. I'm Jimmy Covert, and yeah, this is CRN. So, if you guys have any thoughts of who might win tonight, you can just put it in the chat. Let us know. Definitely will pay close attention and keep that in mind. As I usually like to wait a little bit just to see kind of how the field manages, because I know how easy it is sometimes to go out there and get a really fast lap, but to hold a race pace and have and hold that for that 150 laps can be tricky. Last week we had some not so nice laps, a couple cautions that these drivers didn't want, but you know, it's week in, week out, and just as these drivers continue, like I said, to get out there and tackle these different tracks and the different cars and different weather conditions, whatever it may be. But definitely looking forward to this one here tonight. You can see there the 81 trying to come in hot to the pits, getting a little sideways there. So running up practice here, so I'll go ahead and pull up the session state there. I'll show you how long, and yep, it just ended right now. So drivers will be taking the track and getting some qualifying in. They got 10 minutes to get out there, get their best times in there. But as you can see from the blimp, it is a beautiful, clear, cool night, and these drivers will definitely have some really fast times. Like I said, down there in the 29-second range. That's blistering speeds here at Nashville Super Speedway. Again, thank you for joining us, and I guess we'll see how they do here. A bunch of drivers taking to the track right away. I'm going to go ahead and hop on board here with Mr. Robert Smith in the number 08 Western Auto Machine. We'll go ahead and give you a bird's eye view. We'll hop right down in the cockpit so you can see what they see on track. Just across the start finish line, heading down to turn number 1. Try to keep it down there, down towards the bottom. Get that car turned, pointing in the right direction. Get on the throttle, go down the back stretch, or a nice short shoot down into turn number 3. Turns 3 and 4 are a little bit different than 1 and 2. You can hold a little more speed, but you got to be careful so you don't get up in that outside wall, and driver's going to come down towards that yellow line for the start finish line. And Robert Smith is going to put in a 30.518. Good enough right now for Pete number 5. Andrew Palesci out there got his time in with a 29.801. Another looking at 81 popcorn machine out there trying to get himself another win or another good finish here again tonight. Still on that that chance for that championship here. Brandon Mefford there here in the number 83 car with a great time as well. Only a .186 behind Andrew Fletcher. Drivers using every bit of track they can, high to low, low to high, trying to keep that speed and momentum around the corners. Mike Hasties was fast at practice as well in that number 72. He's in P number 2 currently, only 0.96 tenths behind Andrew Pileshi. Go ahead and put the gap up there for you so you can see the difference of where everybody's standing. Troy Radford, that's a newer name. I haven't seen Troy out there very much for the number 94 Charity Motorsports. Doing good things. Obviously want to get a shout out to these sponsors for jumping along board with Virtual Velocity Racing for the season. Taylor out there right now in the Big League Chew. Talked about that car a little bit last week. It's just a good throwback. Well, very well done paint scheme. Taylor currently sitting in P15. Joshua Divers is sitting on the provisional pole here with a 29.586. Only a few more drivers on the field that have that possibility of taking that away from him. We'll have 6 remaining drivers to put in some times here tonight to see if they want to start mid-pack, or maybe they're just happy with the back of the pack. One driver we know that likes to come from the back of the pack, that's the number 77 of Michael Pratt. Challenges himself every single week. Qualifying coming to an end here, and I'll get up the results where your favorite driver or all drivers, or if you're just a fan of iRacing, see where those drivers stand here tonight, and we'll start this 150 lap event. Like I said, this is I'm not a huge short track fan, but you know, this is over that 1 mile range, and it fits right in my wheelhouse. So got some laps around here. Do actually do pretty decent, but it does look like qualifying is over, so it is time to go through the grid. I'll pull up the grid here tonight. So starting on that front row will be Joshua Divers at number 57, followed with him on the outside row of Andrew Pileshi. Row number 2, Ray Courtney and Derek Paulson. Row number 3, Ty Marasco and Mike Hasties. Row number 4, John Garrett and Justin Lewis. Row number 5, Dalton Kilroe and Troy Radford. Row number 6, Tim Williams and the number 12, Maxwell Caldwell, and that number 95. Row number 7, Brandon Mefford and Chris Moreland. Row number 8 will be Len McNeese and Gordon Larson on a 00. Row number 9, Todd Merkel and Mike Taylor. Row number 10, Tim Lee, the man, the myth, the legend here at VVR, that helps put these things on with his team of admin personnel. Mike Rideout in P number 20, Eric Blount in P21, Robert Smith's in 22nd. Row number 12 is going to be Tyler Hilton and Cade Green. And then we do have a couple more rows. Got Michael Pratt back there on row number 13 with Chris Schuessler in our last and final row. Row number 14, Douglas R. Johnson and Michael Eden. So 28 cars out here tonight to tackle on the Nashville Super Speedway. I heard a little doorbell in my ear. That means my partner is probably in the booth.
Absolutely, I'm here, Jimmy. It just took a little bit to get up here to the booth, but I'm here ready for some action here. I know this is it's a concrete track, but it's not Dover, it's not Bristol, it's a super speedway, but it's not Talladega, it's not Daytona, and quite frankly, it's not a super speedway, but we'll call it that just for namesakes. It is the Nashville Super Speedway, but this is a funky little tri-oval, Jimmy. It's one that I mean, I don't know if it's just because of the concrete or because of the layout. It's just it doesn't race like other tri-ovals here on the service, and it can get a little bit funky for these drivers out here tonight.
Yeah, it can get funky, you know, and it's, you know, mixed between the concrete and the shorter track, and, you know, it gets that super speedway kind of feel, though, Carl. You know, the biggest thing is obviously they have to maybe drag some brake, and you might hear some shifting in the corners for some of these cars as they continue to try to get around here. It worked last week, then, you know, they might continue to try it here. You know, we'll see how these drivers handle these cars as they have a limited set of tires. They run on, I believe, it's 60% fuel, so not quite a full tank. So a lot of strategy can come into play here as well. But cars are out on the field, and we're getting ready to go green. I need to bring up the track map and go ahead and bring up the ticker for you guys so you can follow along where everybody is at.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one here tonight. 150 laps on tap. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Nashville. Joshua Diver's going to head him off into turn number 1. Pleshy does his best to hang with him, but it looks like just going to have the edge going into turn 1 is Divers. But that middle line is formidable on some new tires. It looks like it's going to work right now for Pleshy. Actually going to lose maybe another spot here as Ray Courtney goes to the inside here. And now he's going to slot in behind Paleshi as they head off into turn number 3. And they're coming out onto the front stretch for the first time. Joshua Diver's going to lead the first lap. Paleshi in second. You got Ray Courtney in third, holding off both Ty Marasco and Derek Paulson, who are battling it out for fourth.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of fast times during practice calls. So to see how these drivers handle these cars is they can really get too much momentum going in the corners or get on that throttle early and end up going around. And once these tires kind of warm up, they hit like a sweet spot, and then you just got to kind of be careful with them. So, but drivers are kind of shifting around. They're starting to pretty much be single file for the most part towards the back of the field, but up front, still got some 2x2 action. It's the number 99 of Ray Courtney and goes to the inside of Andrew Pleshy. Andrew Pleshy kind of stuck up on that outside. It's hard to get down that inside, so it's going to open the door for Derek Paulson to get by as well. And now Ty Marasco looking to make that move as well. So MFRD moving towards the front.
And good to see Derek Paulson back here and trying to make up for some lost time already up there in the top 3 and trying to make a hassle of everybody up there. Ty Marasco, no shocker there, and going back to the green and white paint scheme, maybe switching up here, getting off the questionably the problem paint scheme there with the Squishmallows, and go back to the white and green and black paint scheme there for MFRD. But Paulson now to the inside here for second, as I missed out what happened to Pleshy. I looked away for a second. All of a sudden, he is back there in 5th place, as Paulson right now going to battle with Courtney for second, but they are right on the back bumper of your leader, Joshua Divers.
Yeah, Paleshi just kind of got stuck on that outside and getting shifted back just a little bit, with that inside being as strong as it is early on the newer tires. You see some of them drivers maybe more comfortable down there, but you see the 66 of John Garrett going on the high side, around the number 72 of Hasties, getting real close to that wall on the exit, but trying to just carry that momentum as they head down into turn number 1.
Also now just about clear of Courtney for second, but Courtney doing a good job just battling on that outside, but he's going to lose some time now, and Paul's going to slide up in front of him, so he's got his hands full now of Marasco on the inside, battling for 3rd place. But again, right behind Joshua Divers, who is not getting away at all. Very close on the times right now, very close on the times in qualifying, as well as Marasco now moves into 3rd. But now Courtney going to go to the inside, or at least peek to the inside, not going to be able to make that move and get the bumper inside. Seems like the low line is the preferred line right now, but Paulson trying to get it done here on the outside. Got very close there, but Diver's going to give him some room, and Paulson going to try and make the move on the middle/outside lane, and man, he's got that 16 hooked up here tonight pretty well early on, but Diver's not going to let it go by easily. Give that lap lead to Paulson, but only by about 0.03 of a second.
And it takes a little bit to get that outside, kind of rub it in just a little bit. You see Ty Marasco looking to get under Paulson as Paulson got stuck there on the high side. So he's going to take advantage. Need to be number 2 as they try to chase down Joshua Divers. So a lot of battling behind Joshua Divers. That's what he wants to see. He wants them to keep battling back and forth and maybe stay off his bumper. But Ty Marasco had nothing to do with it. A great run, a little bit of brush of the wall by one of the cars up there. But
Like it might have been Paulson.
Definitely trying to push these cars to the limit here early on.
Don't look now, but Justin Lewis wants to get in the mix. Started P8. He was the winner 2 races ago at Watkins Glen. Now trying to show his prowess on the oval side here, and already up into 4th place, up 4 positions right now. That's another good-sized field out here, Jimmy. 27 cars in the field is another great showing for these guys at Virtual Velocity Racing, and it's all credit to the great racing they put on. And man, Marasco is hassling at the backside of that 57 right now of Divers, but nobody's been able to get around him just yet. Another one going to the outside. Here comes Marasco on the outside. Can he make it stick as they head off onto the backstretch?
I'm sure it'll be maybe a crossover maneuver, or just trying to draft along, trying to run away, try to break away from some of the drivers in the back, because they all want to get up to the front. They all want some of these much needed points for the championship as it's getting closer towards the later half of the season here. So, but Ty Marasco gets to the inside. He's going to get a lap lead here this time by.
Got a huge run through turn number 3 as he kind of backed up the middle and shot down to the bottom. Got a good draft and just launched off the corner and right down to the bottom. Easy pass for the one to the lead. New leader here is Ty Marasco. Joshua Divers in 2nd. Justin Lewis, Ray Courtney actually having a battle now as Mike Hasty going to move himself into 4th place. And Ray Courtney back to 5th. Then you got Derek Paulson, John Garrett, Dalton Kilrow, Andrew Pileshi back to 9th. And Tim Williams in 10th place as they stand right now here on lap 12.
And I know they've had their issues and maybe some early cautions, but no early cautions as of yet. Knock on wood, knock. And they keep things going here. So some great racing so far as we're on lap 12 of 150. So there's now at that point, Carl, where like if they were running too hard, the car's going to start to fall off pretty look at a swift pace. There's a big difference between new tires and old tires here, and you can run about 15 to 20 laps pretty much flat out. Obviously with a little bit of feathering through the corner so you don't lose it, but who's saving? Who's laying back? But right now it's not Ty Marasco. He's up to the front finally, as now Justin Lewis is looking to the inside of that number 57 Joshua Divers.
I'll tell you what, Derek Paulson not laying back as well, as he's laid into that wall coming off the corner off of turn 3 a couple times now, and not sure if the car's damaged at all, if he's pushing up there, if he's getting some dirty air from the cars in front, but seen him pop off the wall a couple times, seen the smoke fly. It seems like it's still running okay for him, hanging out up there in the back half of the top 10 right now, but his teammate Marasco up there in front, trying to stretch out a little bit, but this is probably the biggest lead we've seen so far, about a quarter second, as these cars are not getting away at all, but still plenty early in the run here, only on lap number 14, now clicking over to 15, as Paulson tries to mount a charge here on Courtney on the inside to try and move back up there into 6th place, and gonna do it here through 1 and 2.
And he might have to fall back. He was pushing really hard. They, might have worn them tires up too much, got a little greasy. Ends up getting to, can't get down to that bottom side, to follow the leaders, so ends up on the outside and has to, basically get hung out to dry. Lose a few spots, but that's okay. Everybody's pretty close here as things continue to battle out. But Ty Marasco looking to try to check out to that 1 second lead over Joshua Divers right now, as now you have a bunch of fields. We can bring it back just a little more. Back to that number 41 of Dalton Kilrow, getting around Ray Courtney, as Ray Courtney falls back just a little bit. So Ray Courtney, maybe one of those drivers that pushed a little bit too hard, a little bit too early, wearing them tires out, or maybe just getting wrong spot, wrong time, obviously getting stuck to that high side.
Good battle towards the back in 17th, as Tyler Hilton has made his way around Mike Rideout and now around Tim Lee as well to move himself up into 17th spot, as they were all three doing battling for the last couple laps, but Hilton is going to make his way through in that 0-2, and we certainly can see him moving up through this field as he's one that likes to charge through the field. Not seeing too much from Michael Pratt just yet. It's still plenty early. He's back there in 21st right now, up 4 spots. He is one of the biggest movers of the race, as really just Tyler Hilton and Justin Lewis, both up 6 positions, are the biggest movers right now of the race. But so far, so good, Jimmy. I mean, definitely shaking off the bad feelings, the cobwebs, whatever you want to call them, from New Hampshire last week, and already looking like a pretty good start to this race here at Nashville.
Yeah, pretty good. So far, so good. 18 laps in the books, Carl, and it's only, it's going to make this race a quick one if they can keep it green. As they're still getting around here, and it's at 30. They're still at 29 seconds to the leader. Well, just 30 seconds that last lap. But, still getting around here a real decent clip. So not far off qualifying times as of yet.
So we'll talk about the point standings real quick. Obviously, Dalton Kilroe is still your points leader, but new man in second is Joshua Divers. He is 31 points behind Dalton Kilroe heading into tonight's race. Paulson falls to 3rd place as he is 50 points behind your leader. Gordon Larson is going to stay in 4th. Len McNeese stays in 5th. And then Eric Blunt and Brian Dees swap positions, as Dees was not at the last event there at New Hampshire as well. And surprisingly, I mean, 2 guys you got to look at in the points, and really 3 guys in the top 10 only have 11 starts on the season, and that being 10th place John Garrett, 7th place Brian Dees, and your 3rd place driver Derek Paulson. And it just goes to show you that when these guys are showing up, they're putting in some very, very quality runs out here. And we got 2 of them out here tonight. I'm not seeing your 10th place in points, John Garrett, unless I'm just missing him out there, but I don't see him here in the field. But certainly do have Derek Paulson up there in 6th place. Actually, Brian Dees is the other one I'm not seeing. So actually only one of those 3 guys is going to make it to 12 starts on the season. The other 2 are going to remain at 11.
Yeah, John Garrett up there in P number 5, up 2 spots from the start, having a decent run so far in that Fort Worth number 66. Yeah, he might get him mixed up. I forget his teammate's name. Runs the same paint scheme and everything, just different number, obviously. So, but everybody's doing good so far. Justin Lewis out in front now, as he takes the lead from Ty Marasco in that number 07.
Yeah, 07 up 7 spots right now. Again, started back there in 8th place and already doing a great job moving his way through the field and showing that you can make some passes here at Nashville. And it is kind of a racy track here. I mean, I know that the bottom lane seems to be kind of the preferred lane, but you can kind of mix it up here a little bit. You can get some good runs. You can make some passes. It's certainly not one that's just follow the leader. And I say that as we watch the top maybe 15 cars just in single file right now, not doing any kind of passing, other than back there in 15th and 16th, as we see Chris Moreland making a pass on Len McNeese. But I mean, all in all, again, a good start for everyone out here in the field. And after the debacle last week at New Hampshire, I mean, New Hampshire was just eating these guys up here a little bit. I know it was, I think it was like in the 1 teens in the temperature. I mean, it was not exactly a cool track, and clearly not a lot of grip out there. But tonight we're under the lights here at the Nashville Super Speedway, and cars looking pretty good out there.
Yeah, all the cars looking good underneath the lights here tonight. Yeah, track's only at 77 degrees tonight right now, Carl. So nice and cool. Plenty of time. It gives these drivers a little more grip. It takes longer for the tires to heat up. Don't get it twisted. These drivers overthink the corner or get on the gas too hard too often. Coming off some of these corners, you're going to burn up that right rear, and then next thing you know, they're going to be losing time and wondering why. But single flag right now, out front, Justin Lewis, Ty Marasco, Joshua Divers, Mike VC, and Derek Paulson for your top 5, and John Garrett, Dalton Kilroe, Ray Courtney, Troy Radford, Brandon Mefford in there for your top 10.
You're going to say, I mean, we have seen dominance by a couple drivers here in the series, that being Dalton Kilroe grabbing his 4th win last week and Derek Paulson grabbing 3 wins on the season so far. But I mean, really, through 15 races, we've seen 8 different winners here as it got very close there between Divers and Marasco battling out for second and third right now. But it's great to see that many different drivers through the first 15 races grabbing at least 1 win on the season, and a lot of guys up into the top 5, top 10 all throughout there. It's really good driving. I mean, you can maybe see a little bit of kind of top half of the field, bottom half of the field type of drivers, and the drivers that you typically see towards the front, but it's really at the end of the races where it all kind of mixes up, whether it be pit strategies or whether it be guys wearing out their tires or maybe an untimely caution, an untimely wreck, whatever you may see throughout the race. And we see some different names kind of work their way towards the front. But man, Jimmy, are we pacing right now? Are we under caution that I don't know? I mean, we're 2x2 all of a sudden for everybody.
A lot of 2x2 out there. No car, we're at full speed. Right back, I can bring up the dashboard for everybody to see how fast these drivers are actually going right now. Around 157 miles an hour as they make their way down the front stretch. You see that speedometer just climbing. 178 miles an hour back here with the number 83 of Brandon Mefford. So looking to move forward here as well, but kind of stuck with that pack. That, these drivers are 2x2. Somebody not 2x2. Justin Lewis up to a 1.7 second lead over the field. So got something underneath that hood here early as we're completing lap 29, now starting lap number 30.
Yeah, again, your leader or your winner 2 races ago, but that was on the road course at Watkins Glen as he did a very good job there. But this is definitely far from Watkins Glen as Justin Lewis doing a very good job right now. Kind of controlling this field at the front, but yeah, I mean, he's got 3 guys under a blanket right here. He's got Divers on the inside trying to get around Marasco. It looks like he's finally going to do it. And that clip in front of Marasco, who slides down in front of his teammates, Derek Paulson, on the front stretch here. That'll be second, third, and fourth. And now Kilroe trying to get up there in the mix. So you got the 72 right there as well as nobody's really running away from this thing. I mean, obviously at the front there, you got Justin Lewis out to about a 3-second lead right now because of these guys mixing it up, and not sure what happened there with the 94 of Troy Radford, but he backed that up very quickly and almost backed it right into Paleshi right there going into the corner. I mean, it worked out. They all kind of got back to where they were at the beginning of the corner, but whew, that was a quick jump on the brakes there for Paleshi for sure.
Yeah, on his toes he is, and their A game on him tonight so far when he started this race, Carl. So yeah, a lot of fighting and action going on right there. Then you go back to P number 2 with Todd Burkle sitting there in P number 14, just kind of by himself. He's in between 2 groups. So back there with the second group starts with Len McNeese and then number 12 of Chris Moreland, and at number 12 Genuine Draft Machine. So it's doing a pretty decent job here so far as they sit there with P's at 15 and 16, and then back just a little bit farther at P number 17, the number 77 of Michael Pratt as he just passes Tim Lee.
Yeah, up 8 spots, and surprise, Jimmy, he is the man on the move right now, as he is up the most spots of anybody, with Justin Lewis being up 7. Michael Pratt is up 8. You got Brandon Medford now up into 7th place, or at least battling for 7th with Ray Courtney right now, as that is 6 positions that he is up right now. But on lap 34 here, so we're clicking them off pretty quickly, and I feel like we got to be getting close to pit stops here. Maybe a first round of pit stops coming up in the next 10 laps or so. We'll see these drivers come in for their first time down pit road, and for tonight, these guys will have 3 sets of tires that they can utilize. And they do have 1 faster pair out here. Not sure if Jimmy touched on that in the pre-race, but hopefully they will not have to use it for at least their concern. But right now, I mean, everybody's nice and clean. I know the front stretch wall got a couple of kisses from Paulson early, but other than that, guys giving each other plenty of room right now and doing a really good job out here. Ooh, and I spoke too soon. Looks like Divers tried to go into the pits, gets tagged, spins on the front stretch as we got a couple of guys in the pit road. Looks like we are going to stay caution free here, but Divers is going to have to drive backwards to get into pit road. That is going to put a major hamper on where he was running at the time. We'll take a look at it one more time, and you see him slowing down, coming off the corner. Marasco gets the memo just in time, gets to the outside, but you see Divers locking it up, trying to get in there. It looks like the 83 of Mefford just could not avoid him and runs right into the back of the 57. Doesn't look like he crossed the line there. So as long as he kind of drove backwards through the grass and then turned into pit road, I think he'll be okay in regards to a pit road penalty. But man, that is going to really hurt the 57's chances here, as we are definitely under the first round of pit stops right now. Paulson's sending it in here. Marasco going very wide there in through the grass just to get into pit road, but he's going to make the cone there as well. And most of your drivers in the pit lane for their first pit stops. Looks like we got maybe 4 more drivers that have yet to come in. Dalton Kilrow out there in the lead, Len McNeese in second, Eric Blunt and Mike Taylor are the last ones to make that left-hand turn down into pit road. Everybody else has or is making their pit stop, and it looks like Justin Lewis should come out here as your leader. Of course, not too many guys thinking about tires right now. Looks like just a lot of fuel only. A couple guys towards the back taking a set of tires, maybe needing them, or maybe just not realizing that they only got a couple of sets. But here comes Blunt, Kilrow, and McNeese into the pits. Looks like Mike Taylor going to stay out in that beautiful paint scheme right there with the big league chew on the side of that 98, as he is the last one out there, going to lead a lap here before he brings that machine in. But Justin Lewis is going to come out here as your leader. Looks like Derek Paulson going to be in second. Ray Courtney, Ty Marasco, and John Garrett are going to round out to your top 5.
So good round of stops here tonight so far, as we are just completed lap 39, now on lap 40. So yeah, 110 laps. You can see Carl right around that 35 to, see, Troy Radford was in at lap 37. Maybe Justin Lewis trying to stretch this thing as far as possible. We'll see when he decides to come in. If people didn't take tires, Carl, there's really no time being gained on that 07 right now.
Well, I mean, where the pit stops are happening is kind of interesting too, Jimmy. I mean, when you factor it out, if some of these guys like Justin Lewis pit on lap number 35, you do the numbers, that's not going to add up to 150 too well. That's going to be one extra pit stop compared to some of these guys that came in on lap 37, lap 38. They're going to be able to get out there and get close, if not, really stretch this thing out to make it one less pit stop. So some of these guys, like right here, Mike Taylor, into the pits, the last one, and he stretched it way out there. And it's big. He's going to lose a lot of time right now. He's going to come back out on the track and maybe be towards the back of the pack, but he's saving early, which means, later in the race, he can just go hard and go as hard as he wants to and not have to save as much. These guys up at the front, especially Justin Lewis, some of these other ones, Tim Williams in the back there in 11th, and especially Todd Merkel back there in 12th, pit on lap number 34. That math ain't mathing for me, Jimmy.
I mean, once they're taking their short pit early here, without tires, and just kind of splash and go and get back out there. And, at each time, if this thing goes green, they'll be taking tires again. But I think he's going to lose a little time on that strategy. Just my call. But right now, it is Justin Lewis out front over Derek Paulson, Dalton Kilrow, Ray Courtney, and Ty Marasco for your top 5. And back there in 6 is number 66 of John Garrett, Andy Pileshi, Troy Radford, Maxwell Caldwell, and Mike Hasey's around your top 10.
If you remember, Justin Lewis did have a 3-second lead before everything started to shake out here. But now Derek Paulson, he's got some clean air, and you wonder if that's all he needed here to start making a move and start moving a little bit closer to the lead. He's got the lead down to 1.7 here, and seems like he's chipping away just a little bit here and there. At least he was. Now maybe Justin Lewis starting to turn up the wick here a little bit and try and run a little faster laps to get away from Derek Paulson, but Paulson's got 2 lap newer tires as well. I mean, or not newer tires, but 2 lap later that he pit, which again, you don't have newer tires, but the tires cool down. And if you're running out here very hard and you got those tires heated up, you come in there, cool them down, it's going to feel like maybe not new tires, but they'll feel better than the tires that you just had out there, even though they are slightly used. And to do it 2 laps later, it just, it feels like it's just a little bit better for a couple laps. But now it seems like the times are kind of evening out, both of them running a 30.47 that last lap, and they are pretty much the fastest ones on the track. It looks like John Garrett running a little bit quicker at a 30.41, Andrew Pelesci at a 30.37, so those are pretty good times. I mean, not that far off of their best times with these used tires. They're only about, maybe 2/3 of a second slower than their fastest laps of the race, so doing a good job out here. Looks like the 08 maybe scraping the wall there a little bit. That's Robert Smith trying to stay out of the way of the drivers.
And Justin Lewis still out there and still doing some pretty decent lap times. That last time, this time by will be a 30.41, so a little bit quicker than his last lap. So on a pretty steady pace. I was trying to see whether he can draw this thing out just past lap 47 right now.
Well, he did pin on lap number 35. That is the that is the one that I was mentioning before. I'm not sure if the math is working out for him right now. He's going to have to back it off a little bit at some point, and maybe that's what you see. From some of these guys that are running a little bit slower inside the top 10, they know they need to maybe stretch it out and try and get these. The second and third run just a little bit further, a little bit deeper into here. I mean, again, if you're trying to make it on 3 pit stops, you're going to have to get close to 75 here on this second pit stop, and that would mean that Justin Lewis is going to have to run 40 laps after he just ran 35, and he's got no draft help. He's got no friends out there. He's got nobody to kind of calm him down a little bit. He's out there on an island by himself, and you can say the same thing for Paulson there in second. He pit on lap number 37, so he's going to have to go a little bit further than he did on his first run as well, and he had plenty of drafting as he was back there in the field a little bit. So I think these guys are going to be on the precipice where they're going to have to make a decision here, and you think, okay, it's only lap 49. We're not even a third of the way. We're just getting to a third of the way right now. Do we really need to be talking about fuel at this point? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Quick.
Yeah, we're a third of the way done right now, hitting just across the line to start lap number 50. So, the drivers only getting 35 to maybe 38 laps. So, who's saving now? Who's not going to save later? You still got, at least 2 more pit stops to go. So we'll see how it plays out. But right now it is that number 07 up front with Justin Lewis, Derek Paulson, Dalton Kilroe, Ray Courtney, and Ty Moresco for your top 5.
Going to shout out real quick to our series sponsors here, that being Gold Line Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs. And a shout out to Tim Lee for keeping this thing going and doing a great job. Good to see him out there on the track here tonight, running back there in 20th, and maybe one of those guys just kind of hanging out right now. He pinned on lap number 37, so he's going to have to do a little bit of stretching here as well. But either way, good to see him out here on track. And I know he missed it last week. He doesn't like not only not being in attendance, but not even being around to help admin or to help make decisions, things like that. So he's certainly more happy in the car out here tonight, and now up to 19th. Maybe we're just gonna talk about him a little bit more, and he'll keep moving his way up here.
I mean, maybe he's back to where he started. He was up with a few spots there not too long ago, but obviously pit stops happened and people kind of rotated positions a little bit. But yeah, doing a pretty good job there back in P19. Everybody is so far trying to see where the closest battle on the track. Have to go back with a 0-0 of Gordon Larson being followed pretty closely there by the 84s. 84s trying to that's McNeese as well. They're trying to look for that opportunity to get around the 0-0.
Good first third of this race, and good job for everybody getting through the pits, except the man that is back there in 14th right now, and that is Joshua Divers. He is back there deeper in the field than certainly he wants to be right now, as he's probably not happy with that situation. And I mean, he's probably the only one to blame. I mean, he kind of locked it up on the track, couldn't get down there on the apron, got tagged from behind by the 83 of Medford, who's doing a pretty good job up there in 11th place right now. But Michael Pratt, right behind Joshua Divers, is up 10 spots right now, so maybe get to see a little early here on lap 55 and these subsequent laps what kind of pace this 77 has, as you know, obviously Divers was up there in the lead for quite some time and battling up there inside the top 5, so you know he's got a good and special car out here tonight. It looks like it's all cleaned up right now. It looks like he doesn't have any kind of damage to the back, so it should be at full pace right now. So we'll see if the 77 can hang or catch up to the 57 to get an idea of his pace. But good battle up front here, battling for the top 5, as you got Marasco in the lead. You got the 95 and the 66 and the 81 all bunched up together here, battling for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And this is the battle on the track right now between these drivers as they continue to fight here back there for you said 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Yeah, I had to count on my fingers. But yeah, no, side by side racing here. Still, I'm not only on lap 57, Carl. So I mean, this is just how much these drivers kind of trust to run around each other and push the cars that hard and for the evening. So they do have to make up a little bit of time, but it looks like one just getting underneath.
Garrett jumping down to the inside of Marasco, as Marasco's going to lose a few positions here, but I feel like this is one of those situations here where Marasco kind of gave it up pretty easily here to all 3 of these guys, and looks like the 72 getting up here in the mix, that being Mike Hasty. I feel like this is intentional here. I mean, we've seen Marasco get very aggressive to make some passes and to defend some passes, but he kind of let them by pretty easily here. Now it looks like Mike Casey looking to the inside. I feel like this is maybe a little bit of strategy here, kind of falling back, saving a little bit of fuel, getting to the draft here just a little bit. This is just going to slide down in front of Hasty here and get in behind John Garrett, but up at the front as we got the 08 coming into the pits there, that being Robert Smith. He's kind of been in and out of the pits for a while now as he's down a few laps. But up at the front, it is Justin Lewis by a 1.4 second lead over Derek Paulson, who's got another pretty decent sized lead. He's got a 3-second gap back to his teammate Dalton Kilroe in 3rd, and then Ray Courtney right behind Dalton Kilroe as they battle for 3rd and 4th. But those front 2 are starting to reach out here a little bit.
And they're actually starting to get to that point where they're going to be closing in on some traffic as well. So we'll see how it all plans out as they continue to work these laps. I was already just crossed the line not too long ago for lap 60, working on to be is at lap 61. And yeah, Carl, I mean, it's a great race so far. I mean, there's battles here and there all over the place, to be honest.
Big run there from Ray Courtney as he's going to move the inside of Dalton Kilroe, easily move himself into 3rd place as they're coming up on the back of Mike Taylor here, who has gone down a lap. But again, maybe on a different strategy here is Taylor, as he ran that thing out to 40 laps on that first run. So maybe doing some more saving here on this second one. But it is everyone chasing Justin Lewis at the front. Derek Paulson, Ray Courtney, Dalton Kilroe, your top 4. Alessi going to round out the top 5 with Caldwell, Garrett, Hasty, Marasco, and Medford going to be your top 10. Divers moved his way back up to 13th position, so he's slowly making his way up there. Pratt still kind of hanging out back there in 16th as they got Tim Williams and Len McNeese in between them. I mean, again, much better than last week, Jimmy. It's some people like the short, or not the short. I don't want to give you any firepower. It's a smidge over a mile. It was not short last week.
Make my point valid.
No, it was a slip. It was a slip of the tongue there. That was my bad. Not short, flat tracks. Not too many drivers enjoy flat tracks, and it's kind of an acquired taste. Just like, you know, some drivers don't like short tracks. Wink, wink. It's just, you know, something that you kind of need to figure out. You have to get used to, and it was just a little bit too greasy last week, and I think it was the cause of quite a bit of the confusion and some of the errors last week. But tonight, nice and cool. Maybe a little mix of the concrete here helping them out as well. But either way, it's helping out these drivers to a nice, good run here to start this race on lap 64 already of 150.
Yeah, I can't believe we're almost at the halfway mark and nothing but absolutely outstanding racing. And looking at that window, the next 5 laps or so, we're going to start seeing drivers come back into the pits for the second round of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I think this is where, as a driver, you're going to have to make that decision of, can I make this thing last for 3 pit stops, or is this going to be a 4 pit stop race? If it's going to be 4, you got to make that decision now and early, so that way maybe you come in a little bit early on those pit stops and try and get out there with some fresh tires. Maybe run a little bit harder on your runs and just commit to that strategy, because again, you can't commit too late. You have to try and figure out what your car is doing, how far you think you can stretch it out there, and then just commit to that strategy. If that means backing off, saving a little bit, getting in there in a draft and kind of running a little bit slower than maybe you want to, then that's what you got to start doing. And really you had to start doing it maybe from the beginning of that race. As we've seen some of these guys pitting probably a little bit earlier, maybe they wanted to, but now coming up here to this second pit stop, if you're not close to 75, you're on a 4-stop strategy whether you want to or not.
Yeah, and it's because you don't have the fuel, it just can't carry enough. So it's just going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, especially if it stays green. We haven't seen a full green flag race from a lot of leagues lately in the past few weeks, as they've attacked upon some serious, some a little more challenging tracks. But so far, so good here tonight. And yeah, we do have Justin Lewis out front, still out to only a second, so by no means going anywhere. Derek Paulson trying to run him down. So can he do it? Does the 16 have enough for the 07 by the end of this race?
He's certainly running him down and running some good laps. Not taking chunks out, but he's consistently been about a half to a tenth quicker than him lap after lap, and just barely getting this thing done. And right now he is chipping away little by little, as it is down to 0.8 of a second now. Maybe taking some bigger chunks now that we started talking to him, as he gets about 1.5 tenths that time by. And this is getting a little bit closer here as we're getting close to those second round of pit stops here on lap number 69 right now. Earliest pit stops we've seen already, and Todd Merkel, Gordon Larson in pit lane here already on lap number 69, getting those 4 fresh tires away, it looks, or at least 2. And you wonder if that comes into the strategy here tonight as well. As this could be a track where maybe you're taking a chance on 2 tires at some point, but this early in the race, you definitely want those 4 fresh skins on there to get you back out there. And we'll see what kind of lap times Todd Merkel and Gordon Larson can run, as they are certainly short pitting everyone out here tonight.
They can, obviously they're going to either into that, a 4 pit stop strategy here, kind of locked in, but, it could pan out for them if they just, a caution comes out. We'll see. I mean, it's all about timing, right? So right now, the Justin Lewis out front, Derek Paulson chasing him down, but a little ways back here for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Just kind of battling out. Still a lot of side-by-side action. So, I mean, if you want to see people race and what's going on, this is the part of the track right now. As you can see, here comes Brandon Meffert's coming in the pits.
Yep, your leader in the pits as well, Justin Lewis, diving down there a little bit cleaner this time. Getting into the pits from your leader, and this is Justin Lewis coming in here, and he's going to make his second pit stop, but again, only on lap number 71 here, not making it to the halfway point. We'll see how far the rest of these guys can make it, as Lewis, Mefford, Divers is in, Michael Pratt is in, as well as Tim Williams. Derek Paulson going around for another lap here. We'll see if he comes in. Looks like Andrew Pileshi going to come in this time, as is Maxwell Caldwell. John Garrett coming in. So you have very close there between the 95 and 81 as they're kind of battling down pit road right now. Hopefully Paleshi knows that the 95 is on the inside there, and somebody's going to have to back out if that 95 doesn't have that first pit stall. But behind him, John Garrett and looks like Tim Lee is in the pits as well. Derek Paulson's still out there and still running, trying to get maybe himself all the way to that lap number 75. But you'd like to have a little bit more cushion than just 75, as he's out there right now on lap number 74, trying to complete it here and get close to that halfway point here on this pit stop.
Yeah, you want to give yourself a little bit of buffer, and obviously, the longer you're out there, the older tires, you're losing time. So, staying out there for fuel purposes, now you're really starting to kind of crank it into, because you're going to have to stop one more time, and hopefully it's the last time. So that's what some of these drivers, I think, are doing out there now. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the tower just so you can see when everybody pit. And I'll also throw up the gap here so you can see where everybody's at. Because right now, Carl, we got only 8 drivers on the lead lap. So a lot of them drivers are going to have to be fighting back. You got Ray Cordy, Mike Hasey's coming in as well. So things kind of slowing down here for these pit stops, and the 16 is in this time. So Paulson will bring his MFRD machine down pit lane. That's gonna Derek Paulson's come. Yeah, it's Derek Paulson. Dalton Kilrow right now. So find that number 41 up front, Carl, again.
Yeah, and we've seen on the first run Kilrow get one more lap than Derek Paulson. Looks like Paulson stretched it out a little bit more this time. He did get to that halfway point at 75, but just so we'll have to see him probably saving a little bit of time and fuel on the next couple runs. But looks like Kilrow now slowing down, going to make that hard turn, just make it inside the grass there and inside the cone. Morasco going to follow him down here, as looks like Lem McNeese going to continue on. Lem McNeese is going to come into the pits as well. And Justin Lewis just turning the fastest lap of the race at 29.67. And Jimmy, I think Lewis may realize now, I'm in a bad predicament here. I got nowhere near that halfway point. Either he's going to have to let up a lot on this next run and his final run to make this thing all the way to the end, or he's just going to have to hammer down and put in some lap times. Not only did he run the fastest lap of the race last time by, just matched it on this last lap. So back-to-back 29.67s for the 07 machine. And now Joshua Divers back there going back-to-back as he ran 29.66, just a hundredth of a second faster, and now last lap at 29.65. So another one that pit on lap number 71. Both these guys turn it up here a little bit, crank it up to 11 because they see one more pit stop in the future, at least a splash and dash for both of them to make this thing to the end. If this thing doesn't go and have a caution, you see another one right there. Andrew Paleshi is in the same boat, pitting on lap number 72, turning at 29.535. A nice lap right there from the 81 as he is in third place. Yeah, these guys, a little bit of urgency here, and you look at Derek Paulson at last lap, pretty much a 30-second flat. He's on the mindset of just saving a little bit here in the second half of the run. Starting to see these strategies play out here a little bit. Justin Lewis is in the lead by 5.8 seconds, but he's going to have to get a lot more here to finish this thing out.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if I wonder if he's, maybe he's working for that gap where he can start saving, but right now I'm not saving at all on that number 07 as he continues to lead here. But yeah, drivers starting to get mixed up just a little bit of lap traffic here and there. So just now, the awareness is super high, and you really got to pay attention. You got to keep controlling the car as well as they have so far, as we're already past the halfway mark. Still 70 laps remaining. So yeah, they got to make that fine point. There's we know there's at least one more stop in the future for these drivers, and possibly two.
Nice lap there by the 94 Troy Radford, first one to step under the 29.5 second range, and he ran at 29.456 that last lap, 496. Very good lap there for the 94. Definitely want to give him his due, as he's got the fastest lap of the race right now. Lead out there to about 5.5 seconds, but already you see Derek Paulson starting to reel back in Justin Lewis, as those early times dropped off the table very, very quickly. A 30.21 as Justin Lewis maybe caught up in a little bit of traffic up there at the front, as You see those M&Ms, those Skittles stretched out across the entire track right now. We got them all over there, and got a few tight battles out there. Looking at one right now, or at least you were looking at one back there as Jimmy cuts away right, of course, right in time. But I mean, you've been watching it there for quite some time between 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And 12th place is that 94 of Troy Radford. Joshua Divers is back up to the top 10. Looks like Ray Courtney making his way up there, back up into 5th place, just passing John Garrett. As we got a battle now for that 9th place. Timer Rascal gets very close to the wall, very close to Divers. Battling, trying to hold on to 9th position, but Divers is going to make it on the inside and get it done as Merkel tried to sneak his way in there, sneak his nose in there with that too, but going to have to back out and make another run at it as we are past the halfway points on lap number 84 here of 150, and so far so good, Jimmy. The storyline's starting to play out here a little bit, but man, this story is yet to be finished for sure.
Yeah, not finished by a long shot. Still got half a race to go, a little less than half a race to go, but we still got pit stops that need to be made. Still got drivers, trying to race, as hard as they can to finish very well tonight for, collect as many points as possible. So, yeah, it's a good one so far. I called it from the beginning that looking forward to a great race under the lights here on a cool track, and exactly what the doctor ordered is what we got right now. But just want to let you guys know, see there on the left side. Excuse me. Tyler Hilton up 9 spots in P number 14. So definitely has made their way from the back of the field, at least, and in here to the mid-pack there. So we've seen some good races everybody go to, and plenty of time to still get up to the front. But he has a lot of work to do for him in that Toyota machine.
Only 2 retirees here in the race, that being 26th place Robert Smith and 27th place Douglas R. Johnson. But other than that, we still have 25 drivers out there in the field, burning some laps out there. The lead now down to 4 seconds for Justin Lewis of Paulson, starting to reel him back in, and maybe Justin Lewis in that fuel saving mode right now, as he's about 0.4 of a second slower right now than Derek Paulson. But I mean, you take a look again at the points as they came in, and you look at where these guys are running, and first place in the points back there in 7th, second place in the points now back there in 9th, and then 3rd place in the points, the one that just dropped to 3rd for missing last week, Derek Paulson in 2nd, doing exactly what he needed to do, exactly how he needed to come back here and run tonight to get himself in the mix. I mean, he was a points leader for quite some time before he had a little bit of a rough patch and missed a race or two, and missed last week, and dropped him out not only out of 1st but all the way down into to 3rd place. It's got to be rough from all the way down to 3rd, Jimmy. But obviously still well in the mix, and runs like this here tonight. I mean, it looked a little bit rough for him in the beginning. He looked like he had a fast car, got up there and almost took away the lead, but then brushed the wall out of turn 3 a couple times. And it looked like it was maybe not going to be the right night, but he certainly figured it out. He figured out how to keep it off the walls and keep that thing fast, and he is still reeling in your leader now down under 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think he's just knocking off the cobwebs, missing a couple weeks and getting back out on the track. And competition's high here. Obviously, he had that early lead in the points, fell back a few spots, but now has to redeem himself, come clawing back, and needs every single position. Maybe a little luck on his side, and maybe somebody have a lot worse race than he does. But yeah, great start there for the 16, currently in P number 2, as he is tracking down Justin Lewis ever so slightly. He's down to a 2.2 second lead, as I'm sure Justin Lewis is dealing with some. Was he doing traffic? Okay, yep, dealing a little bit of traffic there, so that will slow him down. So we'll see if it opens back up. But Carl, being the leader sometimes, especially in ovals, people are a little less likely to let you by.
Yeah, when it comes to lap traffic, it doesn't matter if you're on ovals, it doesn't matter if you're on road. Being the leader sucks. Plain and simple, as you're the first one to come up on the lap cars, and more likely than not, you're going to deal with one of two issues. You're going to deal with a guy that doesn't want to go a lap down and is going to try and fight hard to stay on that lead lap, or maybe you're going to deal with a guy that has kind of been riding by himself for quite some time and didn't even notice that you're coming up behind him. Either way, you're the first one that is on that lead lap and going to pass them, so most likely you're going to get the biggest battle out there on the track. Once you get past them, they know they're a lap down. Second, third place doesn't really matter as much at that point, so they'll tend to move alongside and let them do the battling. But yeah, being that leader is not fun, and you see right now the leader Justin Lewis, maybe by choice, having a little bit of a rough patch here. Right behind the lap car, but it's allowing Derek Paulson to reel him in even further. It is down now under 1 second.
Yeah, you see that white car behind a number 12 of Chris Worland. Yeah, Chris.
Okay, yeah.
12, Chris Worland, yeah. So the 16 is going underneath the 12 right now. Looking back here from Justin Lewis in the 07, but yeah, so he is now made it around at number 12, and at 16 tracking down that 07 probably pretty quickly, but with Justin Lewis with that nice lead, I mean, he might have been doing some maybe fuel saving, maybe to catch another lap, or just that little bit of less fuel that he's going to need here to finish this thing out. So, but with Justin Lewis pitting early, you gotta think, can he keep up this pace and give himself a real good finish here?
A shout out to everyone that's out there in attendance and watching the race here tonight. Shout out to Tyler Hilton, who is in the race here and struggling now a little bit as he's back there in 23rd position. Not sure if he had some issues on pit lane or what the case was, but the O2 back in 23rd. But he does have the Petty Museum and Victory Junction paint scheme on there for tonight. A good looking paint scheme here under the lights. Obviously, shout out to Barry, always tuning in. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get yourself in touch with everything that's here and has to offer, and especially help these guys here at VVR get a little bit more exposure and a little bit more views here on YouTube. They certainly deserve it, as we're on lap number 96 right now, doing a great job, caution free so far, getting close to that 100 lap mark, and maybe another round of pit stops here very, very soon.
Yeah, they should be coming up here pretty soon. I'm going to go through the cars here just so everybody get a chance to kind of see how nice these paint schemes are underneath the lights. You can see on the 07, as he goes underneath the lights, you see the American flag underneath the front there, that American Racing engines. So it's pretty cool, the lighting effect that they got going on. So that takes a lot of skill and time to make that happen for some of those people out there making those deliveries. Then you got the 16 of Derek Paulson, we've seen time and time again, and it's always a good one to see. Nice white and orange and blue. Effort in the Spartan 83 Logistics. Apparently having a great run at a P number 3. 81 Smart Food Popcorn Machine there by Andrew Pileshi. Gold scheme this week. Down here in the Foxworth screen printing, number 66 machine. Ray Courtney in the number 99. Dalton Kilroe, another one of the MFRD team members. Joshua Divers, keep digging, as he has to make up for some last time with that atrocious pit stop that he had. I'm sure he's kicking himself in the butt. At Troy Raffer there at a 94 and at Charity Motorsports. Mike Casey's at a number 72, KW Naples, Williams Realty. Marasco, another MFRD member, now sporting the green and white. Like I said, he was running the Squishmallows. Changed it up a little bit this week. Maxwell Caldwell, another Merkel Racing Engines machine, number 95. And then Merkel himself, that bright yellowish green. Sid Williams, BK Paints. Rev Motorsports number 45. Glenn McNeese in the number 84 Western Auto machine. Gordon Larson in the 00 City Chevrolet. Michael Pratt, the Black Sheep Motorsports. Mike Rideout with the Butt Kicker. Lightning Esports. Tim Lee, the owner, and obviously stapled with all the sponsors there for Virtual Velocity Racing. Dean Green and the Rev Sport machine. Eric Blount and Affleck, number 6. They're Hilton, like we said before, out there in the Petty Museum machine. Smaller, number 12, Miller Genuine Drafts. We got Miller's. I am out. We go to the refrigerator. Schuessler with the high enormous. Number 61. It's out there. Up one spot from the start. Sitting in P25. Robert Smith, I don't have him on the track. Neither Douglas Johnson or Michael Eden was out there at the number 8 Mountain Dew, and Douglas Johnson was Chase and Rowdy. Robert Smith was a 08 Western Auto machine. But that's all the cars out there. Good look from them, and it's always good to see the liveries and what the drivers support their sponsors. That they got somebody to give them the thumbs up, or maybe it's just a favorite throwback scheme or a movie like City Chevrolet. So definitely good to see those cars out there, and they're looking good to me.
A few drivers taken in to the pits already and making their third pit stop, and I gotta stress that third pit stop because they will not be able to make it to the end here, and I mean, unless they are literally clutching for 3/4 of the lap for quite some time. They're not going to make it here to the end. They're going to have one more pit stop in them, but keeping an eye on those drivers at the lead, and you got to figure that your leader, Justin Lewis, going to be coming in very, very soon here as he pit last on lap number 71. Here comes Medford diving down into the pits from third position, and he is going to be making his third pit stop. It's going to be a far reach to make it 43 laps here, so he's gonna have to come in again, as is John Garrett. These guys would love a caution late to get this thing mixed up and get them really back into the mix of this thing, because it could be those drivers at the in the top 7 right now. Quite a few of them that made it to or very close to that halfway point in this race, as your leader Justin Lewis still out there, still trying to stretch this thing out as much as possible. And I mean, you got to do what you got to do. He's doing his best right now, holding off Justin Lewis. I mean, holding off Derek Paulson. Not exactly running, blazing times right now. They're both kind of matching each other right about the 30.4 second range. But there it comes into pit lane as hard as possible, getting it woed down by those orange cones, and he's going to bring it in here on lap number 109. So 41 laps, Jimmy. It's going to be the longest we've seen somebody stretch it out here tonight. It can be done, but if he's out there in the lead, he's not going to have anybody to draft, and it's going to make it that much harder. These guys that are still out there, if they can get to around 112, 115, they would certainly be in very, very good shape to make this thing all the way to the end, maybe without even having to save. As Andrew Baleshi now gives up a top 3 spot, he's going to bring it into the pits here on lap number 110. Again, 40 laps. We've at least seen 40 laps be done here tonight. So Baleshi can make it happen, but that was really stretching it early in the race by the 98 of Mike Taylor. Derek Paulson is your leader. Dalton Kilroy in second. Ray Courtney third. Troy Radford and Ty Marasco making up your top 5. And all of them made it to or very close to that 75 lap mark, the midway point here, as third round of pit stops have started. And the question is, who will need to make a 4th pit stop? Who's going to need to make that splash and go? And really, when do you make it? I mean, you almost need to decide pretty early, and it's tough. It's tough, Jimmy, when you're kind of boxed in here because of your early pit stops early on in the race, and you kind of paint yourself into a corner. But it is what it is. You got to ride this thing out, and maybe you got to hope for a caution. We certainly had quite a few of them last week, and I guess the guys just got them all out last week.
I mean, if you're going to do one, they're going to race, and Tim continues to talk to his drivers. I know they use a lot of platforms. I know they use Facebook and Discord and all that stuff. So obviously, trying to clean things up. And I know the drivers, like to have clean races. But we're looking at cars now, 2 laps down. Got a lot of cars only 1 lap down. Caution would not be what 3/4 of the field wants right now. As for the top 6, still out there stretching their tanks, trying to get this thing done. But yeah, right now we're with Derek Paulson, and maybe just trying to get every single lap that he can, knowing that the driver that he's been chasing was was faster at one point. So now it's all on basically now Paulson's in. If he can get back out on the track. What's his name? I don't lose a train of thought. Carl Justin Lewis has some extra fuel, or they toss him a backpack or something, where he can get an extra lap or 2. It's going to be very close, and I don't know if he's not going to be able to go all out. But some of these drivers are going to be able to drive a lot harder than the number 07 of Justin Lewis. So we'll see how things pan out. Almost everybody out there is coming down the pits. Ty Marasco, one of the last ones out there. Sitting in P1 at the moment, battling with John Garrett. John Garrett trying to get one of his laps back, so he's not a lap down anymore, or 2 laps down.
Yeah, he's in P6 right now, so he's back on the lead lap. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Justin Lewis is going to have to save an extra 5 laps than he did that last run right there. Last run was his longest stint of the race, and made it out there to about 37 laps. Pit on lap number 71, and then pit on lap number 108. But he's going to need to make it a little bit longer this time, and quite a bit longer. He's going to need to make it about 43 laps to get all the way to the end of this thing. And I just don't think that's in the cards for the 07. I think he's just got to ride this thing hard and hope that a caution comes out at some point. Brandon Medford in the same position, and even worse, if you want to consider it that way. He's got 2 less laps than Justin Lewis. But from there on back, it's looking a little bit better. John Garrett actually in the same boat, putting on lap number 106. But a lot of guys up there in the 13, 14, in the teens there, the 1 teens, and that's where you need to be to feel certainly comfortable to make this thing all the way to the end. Ty Marasco just getting down and out of the pits. Even though he's back there in 8th, I think he's going to certainly be battling for a top 5 position, maybe even more before this thing ends out, even though he's now dropping back to the back half of the top 10. This thing is far from over, and some splash and dashes, I think, are on the docket for quite a few guys up at the front right now. But Jimmy, we've been running green for so long, and it sounded like you were getting thirsty, and I see the Miller Genuine Draft back on the screen for you again. So I think it's about time to crank these boys up here at VVR and give everyone out there in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
A little love to hear it. Dialing it up. So these sights and sounds of the race cars here at Nashville Super Speedway. We've been green flag from the drop. Only 18 laps remaining, and currently Brandon Mefford has taken the lead over Derek Paulson, and then Justin Lewis, Dalton Kilroe, Troy Radford, and Ty Marasco. Ray Courtney, Andrew Pilecki, Maxwell Caldwell, and Mike Hasty. So only your top 10 are currently on the lead lap.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the problem that these guys are really dealing with right now. And Paulson pushing the issue up here, trying to push Mefford to use it. But, I mean, unless these guys got an extra tank in there, unless these guys have beans, they're going to need some gas here tonight. And it's not going to be fun, not going to be a great way to end this night here if they're coming in and taking a splash and dash, but they're going to have to. I mean, anybody even under 111 for their last pit stop, it's going to be very, very sketchy, but certainly before 110, unless you're really, really in ultra save mode, which it seems like Justin Lewis is right now. It seems like he's trying to do anything and everything that he can to stretch this thing out. He's running times around the 31-second mark right now, and he's seen easily get passed by both Mefford and Paulson, but he's going to have his hands full to try and stretch this thing out all the way to the end. Looking back a little bit further, Joshua Divers still working to try and get himself up into the top 10. Andrew Pilecki hanging on to that 10th spot right now. Both those drivers up there in the mix in the very beginning of this race, but now find themselves either just in or just out of the top 10. Ty Marasco doing a good job, and knock on wood, maybe putting a complete race in here tonight in 6th place right now, and he is one of those guys that should be easily able to make this thing to the end. But yeah, you hear Justin Lewis cutting that thing off for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I got the dashboard able to see for the viewers. You can just see the RPM meter just drop as he goes into the corner. Just right down to zero, like, you know, right down, holding, clutching this thing, getting it in there, just coasting around the corners, stretching it, trying to do everything he can to kind of hold on to a decent finish here, but already fallen to P number 4, so off the podium as of right now. But Brandon Mefford will go hop on board with him since he's out in the lead. Another one of them drivers came in on lap 106, and yeah,
he ain't there. He don't care. He may run out with 7 laps to go, but he don't care.
No, he does not care.
He's getting time in the limelight. Oh, look out, Tim.
Maybe hoping for a caution. I mean,
we're gonna create a caution.
Create a caution, swipe right. I don't know, but yeah, Mefford now enjoying his time out front. You know, we've seen some good runs there by the 83, especially the last couple of weeks. So last week he had a pretty good run as well. So just really kind of enjoying himself out there. Great drive. You know, I mean, it does come down to fuel, so that's part of racing as well. But yeah, you can see him coming up there quickly behind the 81, and gonna just keep this thing going. As I'm sure, I think the 81 is doing the same thing. Yeah, I'll hop on board there with Andrew Pilecki as another one of them drivers has come in there at lap 109. Not quite getting that RPM meter down to 0 that last corner, but it was in some traffic with people on his bumper. You can see the RPM meter drop down there to 2,000 RPMs and coasting it through at least half the corner. So maybe not having to save as much, but ooh, a little bit of a touch to the wall there. Why? Quite sure who that was. Right there in front of the 81.
16 up Paulson, and no surprise there. He certainly had his love affair with that wall here tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see. I mean, Pilecki has been arguably one of the hottest drivers in the series lately, coming away with a second place again last week. But I mean, tonight he was up there battling inside the top 3 for quite some time. Now a lap down in 10th place, and here comes your leader, Brandon Mefford. I guess he's not going to run out with 7 laps to go. He's coming in with 9 laps to go. He's going to have to take that splash and dash. And I mean, I'm sure he's going to be saying some words in there, maybe some words to the crew chief, to the pit crew after this thing is over. But that's going to hand it over to Derek Paulson, and he has got a 4.25 second lead over his teammate Dalton Kilroe. So first and third in the points are now first and second in the race, and Paulson looking to match his teammate who got his 4th win last week. He's trying to come back here and get his 4th win this week. Kilroe has got a lot of ground to make up. He's going to need to make up about a half a second a lap, and he doesn't have that kind of pace right here tonight, as he is looking to finish here in second. Justin Lewis trying his best to hold on to a top 3 position at this point, clutching it in with everything that he's got, but he is dropping like a rock as well, and we may end up seeing him just, kind of throwing the towel and come in here very soon. He's back there in 3rd position right now, but Marasco closing in on him very quickly, and we could see another MFRD 1-2-3 here tonight.
Yeah, and you could tell the boys are talking a little bit on the radio, and there might have been early communications early on. Stretch your fuel as long as you can, so we don't have to make that extra pit stop, that extra time on the pit road. It's hard to make up when you have to make that extra pit stop. Some tracks you get some better tires and you get really close. You at least get a real good finish, but if you can save fuel and not have that one pit stop, it usually ends up a little better of a finish. But yeah, seems like the 07 maybe trying to battle in here. The last 6 laps, I don't know if he has enough fuel.
Oh! Dude, I'm doing everything you can to keep that one behind.
a little bump here, a little bit of bump there, but yeah, so the 07 and the 1 battling it out. Go side by side one more time.
Returning the smooch back there is Marasco on the front stretch. Pass still not complete, but Lewis has got no choice. He's going to have to give it up, and he's got another car coming up behind him here to put him back into 5th very soon. 5 laps to go. Troy Radford, great run by him tonight. Started back there in P10, up 5 positions right now. Looking to go up 6 positions, getting around Justin Lewis here. And he, I believe, is still, he's still holding on to the fastest lap of the race here as well, with that 29.496. So a good run here tonight by the 94, and looking like he may finish here, certainly in the top 5, maybe in the top 4. Quite a ways back there to 6th, so if Justin Lewis can somehow save enough fuel to get this thing to the end, and maybe needs a bump here from Radford just to get this thing to the end, he may be able to hang on to a top 5, which I think, all in all, I know he's not going to be happy because it's not a win, but that's got to feel like a win with all this fuel he's going to have to save to the end here. 3 to go at Nashville.
3 to go, still trying to hold on to a top 5. Justin Lewis definitely not going to have, well, I can't say he doesn't have the fuel to make it. It just was unable to really embrace that those last few laps, Carl, and so it's going to put him back. And he said he has 2 more laps to go. He's probably on the brink of running out, or has just enough to make it. But that's also when you slow your fuel, when you slow your laps down, you change your fuel calculator automatically, and that's for saving fuel. So he's gonna have to keep making those laps before he knows he's good to go. But 2 laps to go. Derek Paulson up front right now, getting ready to take the final lap over Dalton Kilroe and Ty Marasco.
Yeah, white flag out in the air for the 16 of Derek Paulson. He's got a nice 4.7-second lead over both of his teammates. Kilroe in 2nd, Ty Marasco in 3rd, but it is all Derek Paulson here. You've seen that he definitely had some speed out here tonight, but he did with a little bit of speed, a little bit of fuel. The 16 going to match his teammate here of Kilroe. 4 wins now on the season for the 16. Certainly going to help him out in the points, and with Divers finishing back there, looks like he's going to finish in 11th. Could be very well back into 2nd place behind his teammate Kilroe, who finishes 2nd here tonight. Marasco, good job at finishing in 3rd, as clearly the MFRD team did a little R&D here and figured out that fuel was going to be the big key here tonight. Justin Lewis just missing out on the top 5. He's going to fall back to 6th, as Ray Courtney going to claim that last spot in the top 5. Mike Hasty, a good drive here, finishing in 7th. Andrew Pileshi is going to bring it home inside the top 10, finishing in 8th. Maxwell Caldwell and Brandon Medford with the extra pit stop. He's going to finish inside your top 10, but burning it down on the front stretch, 4th time this season, Derek Paulson.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better drive. He's got to be definitely proud. And we wondered why he fell back, and he might have just realized really early after them first laps what that fuel calculator said, and they put it to work. So just save a little bit of fuel, and they think they saved a little early, and didn't push it, and they stayed out of trouble, and definitely was able to have a fantastic drive. I think it was Joshua Divers ended up finishing P11 after having that. Those Divers had the bad pit stop, right?
He had a tag coming into pits, and was your pulse hitter tonight, but he's going to finish outside the top 10. But yeah, there's Paulson trying to burn out right in the window, and maybe sending a little message there to his teammate there, who was the points leader coming in here, saying that I may have been away for a race, but I'm digging for you right now. And I'm staring right at you. And all three of those guys ready for their interviews already. It was very easy to find them. They're all in the same room. Makes it very easy to drag in. I mean, I wish there was a way to just pull the entire room into the broadcast waiting room, but all three are ready to go. Jimmy, when you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring in our first one here, and that's gonna be the third place finisher here tonight, and that's the one of Ty Marasco.
Hey, Ty, it's Jimmy and Carl Nabuti, copy.
I got you.
You change your paint scheme, and all of a sudden you're back up on the podium.
Yeah,
you had one heck of a race tonight, and you were able to come away with a third place finish. Walk us through your strategy here tonight, being that you guys started from green to green here tonight.
The strategy, I mean, not much. I think the way we were running and trying to save the tires, I burned them up a little bit. And, I led the first couple laps and messed up in one of the turns, and it just kind of like started fighting some guys, and it was burning me up, my tires and all that. So that was a struggle. That kind of set us back right there in the beginning of the race. On the long tire run, we had to do 2 stints, but figured if we stayed, going slower, we saved enough fuel to make it to the end on 3 stops, and the rest of the field, most of the field, had to go with 4. So obviously, Team MFRD, we all realized that we could make it on 3 stops, so that's what we did. We did have another fast number 1 Ford Mustang tonight. It's been a struggle all season, but it's good to get back on the podium and get ourselves hopefully back in the right direction. It seems like we have one good week and then a couple bad ones and then one good week again, but hopefully we can just keep on piling some good ones up.
It's always good to get that trend moving forward, and hopefully you can continue over the next few weeks. Obviously, I think you guys are taking a break next week as the holidays upon us here. So, but anyways, congratulations on your third place finish, and give you a little bit of time for any shouts you might have in that number 1 machine.
Michael Falk, MF Racing Designs, and the beautiful paint on my car tonight. We switched it up. I thought last week he had some issues and set us back, but we switched the paint up tonight, got top 3. Thanks for the paint, Michael, as always, and teammates, obviously. It's awesome to get a MFRD sweep of the podium. It's always fun when we do that, and it was fun to do it in Nashville tonight. Congrats to Derek for winning, and, it was funny. We 1, 2, 3, but we're all like gapped apart, so it was kind of a weird night to finish 1, 2, 3. But hey, we'll take it and move on. I know we have a break next week, but I don't know what the next track is, but set ourselves up into the summer break that's coming up after that. So hopefully we can have a good finish.
Yeah, well, again, congratulations on your third place finish, and wish you the best of luck with the remaining races, and hopefully we'll talk to you again up here soon.
Thank you.
That's your third place finish here tonight, the one of Ty Marasco. Second place here tonight is going to be your points that are coming in here, the 41 of Dalton Kilroy. Dalton, a little bit maybe slower on the qualifying here tonight, qualifying back there towards the back half of the top 10, but it seemed like speed wasn't exactly what you needed here tonight. It was the fuel strategy. So clearly you boys over there at MFRD did a little bit of testing or maybe figured out in practice. How early did you know that you needed to try and figure out this 3-stop strategy here tonight?
Well, I knew in practice, just because when I was kind of pushing, I could do 35 laps. I knew we were about 10 laps short, and I just thought, I was like, if we can just go like 3 laps a run, we can probably cut a stop out here. And sure enough, that's what ended up prevailing. Obviously, if there had been some cautions in there, would have changed things up. But just kind of taking my time and not really trying to force too many issues, and was able to go 37, 38, maybe even 39 laps on a tank, and that was enough. I just hate that I couldn't stay close to Derek and make it an actual fight for the win that way, because I got caught up in some traffic and some guys were racing pretty hard, which, I mean, fair enough, but that definitely cost me some tire wear and some ground to Derek, and I just never could make it back up.
Well, you definitely make some passes here tonight, and you did so. I mean, even though you started back there in ninth, you worked your way up there close to the top 5 pretty quickly, and we're getting yourself in the mix. So it seemed like a pretty racy track out here tonight. I know fuel ended up being kind of the talking point, but how was the racing itself? It looked like it was pretty fun out there tonight.
Yeah, racing was definitely pretty fun. I know there were some guys that I think knew if they couldn't keep you behind them, they weren't going to stay ahead of you, so they were just defending a lot harder than they normally would. And the way the outside line worked, you were able to do that. So some guys were just driving in on the outside, staying right on your door, and you couldn't really clear them unless you had like a serious tire advantage on them. But other than that, everything seemed pretty cool. Didn't have any issues getting around any lap traffic, and just pretty clean overall, and happy to come home with no incidents.
So I got to talk about the elephant in the room. You get your 4th win of the season last week. Derek Paulson not there. He comes back tonight, gets his 4th win. There's a little bit of a burnout in your window here tonight. Is there a little bit of tension among the MFRD teammates here? He's going at you there a little bit?
No, not at all. He came back and he whooped it. He needed a little bit of a break from the sim, and clearly it's paid off for him, because he came out and just whooped us. So I feel like he's gonna still be right there. Him and I going neck and neck fighting for these wins if some other guys aren't getting involved in it. We'll have to see kind of what happens. I know he's probably gonna be giving me crap in the team chat, just like, haha, I beat Dalton on a fuel race, haha.
As he should, as he's well deserved.
Yeah. he just feels better doing it, because my nickname in the team was Captain Save Fuel, because that's what I was doing for the longest time. But he did good tonight. He did good.
Well, you won on the flat track last week at New Hampshire. A couple of flat tracks coming up. You got a week off, obviously, next week with the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to you out there. But when you guys come back, you have Pocono and Indy. Big old tracks, but still kind of on the flatter side. Do you kind of fancy those tracks coming up here? Do you think maybe you can grab another win and take yourself back ahead of Paulson there in the win column?
I'll just say this. Pocono and Indy are 2 of my favorite tracks on the sim.
Very nice. That's what we like to hear, and I'm sure that's not what 90% of this field likes to hear, though, is coming here the points leader, and certainly going to leave here the points leader again with another great run here tonight. So congrats on the 2nd. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Well, obviously we've already been talking about them a lot the last few minutes, but rest of MFRD, we all clicked tonight and didn't have anything go wrong. We didn't screw up on pit road again, so woo! That makes it 2 weeks. 2 weeks without one of us catching that disease that we seem to have. Obviously, you guys are doing the broadcast for us. Gold Line Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Designs.
All right, well, once again, congrats on yet another podium here tonight, another 2nd place finish, another good points night before we get close to the end of this season. So we'll let you go celebrate with the rest of the team, and we will talk to you maybe again in a couple weeks at Pocono.
Hey, that's the hope. See y'all then.
2nd place finisher here tonight, the 41 of Dalton Kilroe. Last but not least, the man of the hour, tying his teammate with 4 wins, and that is your winner here tonight, the 16 of Derek Paulson.
Hey, Derek, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
I got you.
Well, and what will you come back? Get yourself a win here at Nashville Super Speedway in style. Not only on speed, but you had to do it with a little bit of saving fuel as well. And you did it by a good almost a 5-second gap over your teammates back there. So some bragging rights for a few weeks as you guys get a week off before you head into Pocono, I believe it is, after the 4th of July week. But I want to say congratulations, man, and kind of give us a rundown on how your race was and what was going through, and when did you decide to you needed to save fuel because you were kind of up front and running. I was like, and then you just started dropping back a little bit. I was like, maybe he burned off his tires. I wasn't even thinking fuel myself because I didn't know how many laps you guys could go. So just kind of give us a rundown on how your race was, man.
First off, I gotta give crap to the other two because I've been away from the service for 2 months. I have not raced, period. So today I had to get on and make sure everything was updated. I had all kinds of updates to do, and then I don't know if I caught the broadcast, but my VR froze on me, and I about wrecked coming out of 2. And yeah, that was scary. I thought my race was over, but it came back on, and I was just about ready to get in the grass. But yeah, I had to burn the rust off, so I kind of ran a little hard there at the beginning. I wanted to lead a lap, and then that place burns up tires. You don't want to run it too hard, because especially with the double stint one set. So I got my lead lap, and then I didn't try to have them all pass me, but I had a pace in mind, and geez, everyone else is really pushing. And basically 10 laps in, I basically knew the way I was going to run, I was going to make it with one less stop. And when I saw everyone start going in early, that first pit stop, and then especially the second, I knew it was just, run my race. If there's no cautions, I'm going to be sitting pretty because no one were up in front where I was at was going to make it. And yeah, that was that. It was uneventful. It was a fun race. I'm glad it went caution free. And yeah.
So how much patience does it take once you know that you're kind of set in your ways for like a fuel stint or save run like that to just kind of maintain and keep going and kind of watch some of the other drivers around you? Like you said, they were kind of like going all out. Obviously, they're having to pit more than you did. So, what kind of patience does it take as a driver to kind of like just keep holding your own, even though you know that the end game is in sight, even though you still have 100 plus laps to go?
When so many got in front of me, I'm like, I better pick it up a little bit. But during the long runs, when I caught the leader, I had no intentions of passing them unless they were really slow. I caught the 07 once, ran behind him a long time, and then the 83, I caught him, and I knew he wasn't going to make it, so I just sat behind him, and I had such a big enough lead on Dalton that, I wasn't in any hurry. And then that last stint, I was kind of saving tires too, just in case there was a late race caution, I'd have some good rubber yet on the car. And, I'm just fortunate and glad that we didn't have that late race caution.
Yeah, definitely. Everything kind of fell in your favor here tonight. And, yeah, executed everything. I have to say pretty flawlessly. Coming and welcome back, man. So it's good to see you back out on the track, and it's good to see you up here on the podium again, getting to talk to you for your your comeback race, I guess you'd call it. So again, congratulations, and from CRN, and we'll give you a little time for any shots you might have on that number 16.
I got to thank our sponsors, Goldline Guardian, Hilton Crafts and Designs, and Forward Screen Printing. I got to thank the other admins who put this league on. It's it's a good group of guys. The whole core is good. Got to thank the drivers again. Going from a real tough track last week, which of course when I was gone, I still kept tabs on everything. So I watched the broadcast. Sometimes live, sometimes I was busy and I couldn't catch on.
As you should.
But yeah, last week was a little tougher. Setup was a handful, and it was rough on the guys. And to come back here tonight with no cautions, that's it says a lot about the guys here. I got to thank you guys up in the booth. Of course, again, like I said, even though I've been away, I've not been too far away, and I enjoy watching your guys' broadcasts, not only these, but also the others. I got to thank Michael Falk Racing Designs for the paints. I got to thank my teammate Ty and Dalton tonight, MFRD. And I do want to send my condolences out to Brian Dees and his family. They had a family loss this week, and I just want to tell them we're thinking about them. And yeah, all in all, it was a good night.
Oh, great shout out there, yeah, and condolences also from the CRN family to Deez as well. And yeah, it's never easy thing losing somebody that you guys love, but maybe he can watch back, and I know you gave him a shout out with his victory here tonight at Nashville Super Speedway, and just kind of put a small smile on his face. So, but either way, congratulations on your win here tonight, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends, family, and teammates.
Sounds good, and thank you guys.
That's your winner here tonight, the 16 of Derek Paulson. Jimmy, I motion to change broadcast waiting room to MFRD waiting room at this point. I mean, they've been very, very dominant out here this season. 9 wins out of the 16 races at this point. So, I mean, my math may not be the best, but that's more than 50% of the races, Jimmy.
Yeah, we might get some kickback from a few of them drivers out there. You know, they've been up here as well. So, you know, they got coming in second place when the MFRD drivers failed to perform or had the bug for entering pits, as we've heard from some of the teammates. You know, they have a great group of drivers, and there's a lot that some of the other drivers out there can maybe pick up on or go back and save the race and watch and see how they ran the lines or braking, maybe their thought, and when it comes down to strategies, and just kind of take it for thought for their own. But yeah, great group of guys out there to learn from. If you're not the fastest the drivers out there, to definitely some knowledge on the track, when you go back and watch the replays of how they perform. So, but yeah, congratulations to MFRD for putting it on this week here, and we'll see if they can do it in 2 weeks.
Well, a little challenge out there to the team, and maybe more along the lines to Derek Paulson, as they have, again, 9 wins out of the first 16 races, but only driver to go back-to-back this season has been Andrew Palesci back in race number 12 and 13, as he won at Charlotte and then Worldwide Technology. So we'll see if maybe Derek Paulson can go back-to-back again. Week off next week. Happy 4th of July to everyone out there. Make sure you have a fun, safe holiday, as it is certainly one of my favorites. And I know my son's certainly looking forward to it as well. Nothing like just sitting back and watch some explosions in the sky. It's just it's a great time, especially if you can spend it at a at a ballpark or something like that. It's one of my favorite holidays for sure. So again, week off next week. Won't see you guys until July 11th. So little 7-Eleven, get your Slurpee, head on up to Pocono Raceway, as we'll be there for 120 laps. And then the week after that, Indianapolis, before we start our summer break here, and they're off for about a month. So we're getting close to the end of the season here. And Jimmy, we've only got 6 races left in this season. It's been an absolute blast so far. All throughout the season here. The first 16 races have been great. I'm sure the last 6 are going to be just as great. But for myself and Jimmy here at the Nashville Not So Super Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.